Hello, we are live. Welcome back. The IFS podcast live review. I got this cork and cage bottle. This is gonna be a total mess. I am joined once again by Ed Grohl. Ed, say hello to the folks at home.
Hello, everyone. I was smart enough to take the cage part off before we started.
Oh God, yeah, I am gonna suffer through this. I am just not good with these types of bottles, and I don't particularly. I love this format. I love a big 75 milliliter. I love the I love the bottle. I love all that. I love the cork and cage. I like the tea ceremony of it, but getting these things off is really a pain. I have delicate fingers, it just kind of hurts.
Well, then it should be easier to get off if you have soft hands. We're starting off classy.
Woo! Man, you know what? We're gonna pack it in. That's the best joke you're gonna hear tonight. Man, that was a fast show.
No, hey, stick around. It only gets better.
Yeah, it does. If you're joining us live, please let us know about it in the show notes as I sit here and struggle with this. Ed's like, why didn't you take this off before we started? I was like, oh, it'll make for good video, me not being able to get it off.
P.S.
Oh,
mine came right out.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell yours sounded like it had some
Happy New Year.
It had a little bit of charge to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God, are you fucking kidding me? This is super embarrassing. I hope this is making for good video.
Bill, for anybody who's never seen us side by side, Bill is literally twice my size. I am a small human being on the man scale, and Bill takes it the other way. He's Paul Bunyan.
Oh, God damn it. I cannot get...
Watching this brings me so much joy.
All right, we got it. Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ.
Got it out. Man, that's a big cork. And it was way in there. I'm exhausted
north
now.
Of corks.
Yeah. So what am I struggling here with tonight so far? Gooseberries. Pennsylvania Wild Ale with gooseberries, fermented with Brett by Pizza Boy Brewing Company. This is brand new.
Forever. All right.
Yeah, you got something a little different.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. You got whatever forever, and mine's gooseberries. Boy, look at that. Look at that.
Oh yeah. All right. Let me try mine here.
Yeah, I got a little bit of hard water left in this glass, so sorry if it looks a little dirty. A little hard water residue.
Woo! Look at that baby.
Yeah.
That was a little more active than I thought it was going to be in my hennepin glass. I tried to find a goblet. I must have given them all away.
God, you know what? It's nice and fizzy.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Ooh.
Oh, this really is. Hey, Sean Fox is in the chat. Hello. Welcome back. Always good to see you. Oh, man, this smells amazing.
Yeah, mine does too.
Oh, God. It's got that little bit of funk. A little bit of a sour nose to it. Now the head just quickly dissipates. I'm guessing it's probably because it's kind of acidic. So the head comes in, it's nice and rumbly, and then it just died out on me. I'm just loving the way this smells. I'm almost hesitant to dive in and drink it. God, it smells good. All right, here we go. Light fruit. Tart. Ooh, finish is nice. Oh, I like that. That's really good. That is really good. Man, it's gonna be quite a journey we're gonna go on here. So this is coming out probably next week. I wasn't really quite sure when it was gonna show up. Wasn't quite sure what day it was gonna be released. Tomorrow at Pizza Boy, they are releasing a big beer. We're going to be seeing 3 new and the final 3 intangible ales from Terry. So get out to Pizza Boy tomorrow. He's got, I think, 200 bottles of each of the 3.
The final 3.
The final 3 intangibles is done. It's back and it's done.
He's just
moving on.
All right, cool.
I asked him if he was sad it was over, and he said no. Terry said, I like making weird beer, and I get to make weird beer here. He seemed kind of indifferent about the change.
That's kind of Terry, though. Yeah. He's neither here nor there. He's like, whatever.
Yeah, I think he's got a broader perspective on it. So yeah, but these are coming out probably sometime next week. And I'll tell you what, they're ready to go. This is really nice. The body on it is very light right now.
We've been doing so many IPAs and stuff that it's tough for me to even. It's going to take me a few sips to even wrap my mind around like a nice Brett Belgian-y, ale. This is good. You prepared me for something. I was prepared for something more sour than this because I know that those guys love doing that. But this is smooth and easy going. I'm starting to really get into this. It's great.
Yeah, this is really nice. I'll tell you what, mine is very heavy in the gooseberries. Very sour, very fruity. Gooseberries have that kind of like a grape wine kind of flavor when you add them to an ale like this. And this is definitely coming through. They use gooseberry puree, and they used a ton of it. Much like how Al and Terry and Roger and company do everything. When they do it all the way. Oh, you're going to put, 3 pounds of hops per barrel. We're going to go 7. You're going to put, 10 pounds of fruit in that beer. We're going to put 50 pounds. And they do everything really big and really crazy and really weird and to the extreme. And it's part of the reason why I love their stuff. Because you know what? It's always going to be out there on the fringes.
I'm digging this label because it kind of reminds me of like a wedding type font where it's like Bill and Ed, February 15th, 2018. Save the date or something like that. It's really cool, but it's got this reflective quality to it. I really dig these types of basic labels.
Yes.
I sometimes I think less is more in a label, and it's really neat. I love it.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful label. It's a beautiful bottle. It's a green bottle. I asked Terry why green. He believes it's proper and traditional when making these types of beers. When you do something that's wild or a saison, they are traditionally in a green bottle, and it's proper, and so that's what they go with. Can't argue with that. I think that's true, and I agree with it. The label is something new for Pizza Boy. It's very stark. I think it's minimalist. The script is beautiful. The script actually has a bit of a metallic reflection to it, which is really nice. It's very beautiful. It's got a thick papery feel, and it looks completely different than anything they've ever done. Whatever Forever is not a new beer for them. They brewed that a couple of times. It's very good. That one is different in so far as that it's a 24-month beer. Took them 24 months, 2 years to brew it, and is bottle conditioned, whereas the other Whatever Forever was just available on draft. The gooseberries that I have, this is it's sort of like a stainless series that they've done, but this is a different label. It's a different format. It's went with a 750 milliliter, and I think they're trying to do some things with the branding. Permasmile is very specific. That I when I think of Permasmile, I think that as being the top echelon of what Al does, and then this I would assume as far as a price point and placement within the catalog of beers that they have, that these new Pennsylvania Wild Ales would be something to come in just below that as far as a price point and availability. So really exciting stuff.
This is super cool. I'm excited for them. It's really neat stuff, and kudos to them for trying to keep the all the authenticity alive with this. I commend them on that as well.
Yeah, I think that in some ways Terry can be a man of a lot of conflicting ideas. He believes in a traditional, well constructed brew, and then he also is like fully committed to doing something totally crazy and insane and blowing it out of the box. He's a man of contradictions, and I find that to make him very interesting. He's a man of very strongly held opinions about beer, about how it's to be properly made, about what constitutes an appropriate series of characteristics for a style. And I trust his judgment. I think he's exceptional. I think he's one of the best brewers we have in the area, and he's one of the best brewers I know. Al, I think, is a man of exceptional taste, and I think that him working with Terry was probably one of the smartest business decisions he ever made. I trust Al's taste, and he's never steered me wrong on a beer. I haven't agreed with them on every beer they've done. A lot of their really crazy stuff sometimes is just too outlandish for me, and I like crazy beers. And when I then found things to not be so great, I've let them know. But by and large, I think those guys care for and respect for their customers, and they put out great stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I remember when Terry started there, and I really didn't know much about him other than I think the one thing that stuck in my head. I said, "Oh, I think he worked at Bullfrog."
Yep.
At a time, I don't know his whole resume, but
Bullfrog, Jackie O's,
that was the other one, the other big one. And boy, those two, peas in a pod, those two, just talk about a good mix. And they've gotten along well, and seems like they have kind of similar but different ideologies, excuse me, if that makes any sense, where, I mean, Al's personality and Terry's personalities are completely different, but they kind of like cross somewhere in the middle, and they figure out, okay, we can do this, or maybe we shouldn't do that. Although they probably do a lot of stuff they shouldn't do, but sometimes you got to throw enough at the wall to see if it sticks. But this, obviously, when I'm drinking this, I can tell that they really cared about this. They weren't just making a triple IPA to make a quote unquote triple IPA or whatnot.
No, I agree with you there. They do really care about this beer. I talked with them for about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes about this beer and a bunch of other stuff. And they really do care about this stuff. They really care about sweating the details on these beers, on these bottle releases. And there have been people that have been very unhappy with them in regards to some of the choices they've made. I think those people are wrong. Some of those opinions led to a post that I wrote on my blog that I posted just before we came on here today. The title of it is "Beer is Not an Investment." We'll talk more about that, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes later. But I do think that they care deeply about the beer, and I think that I felt that Al has always been respectful to me as a customer, and I know there are people that have serious disagreements with him about how he runs his business and how he chooses his beers. I don't agree with those people.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I mean, we know him personally.
Yeah.
By proxy, you have to. He's been nothing but kind and generous to people, and I know he likes to poke the bear internet-wise, which I think already turns some people who might be coming in and going, "Oh, well, I heard this about it anyway. Screw you." But to talk to him, he really does care. And Terry definitely does care. It's, when I read some of the things that I see, if there's a legitimate gripe and you care about the beer and not some bullshit beer trade, you go to the guy and you say, "Hey, I think you have a legitimate concern," and voice your opinion, not go into every local beer group and copy and paste the same goddamn post being like, "I bought X amount of beers and it's going to suck that I have to, do whatever. And I'm not going to get a refund." And, it boggles my mind that people don't even understand how to approach trying to make a reasonable criticism against something or complaint. It just kills me. And if anybody knew the amount of time and money and effort and care, and I emphasize care because they really do care. And I know I've even heard in the past week some people say like, "Oh, well, he doesn't give a shit," and that's only because he likes to poke the beer nerd community online. He really does care. And it's products like this, I taste this and I go, they really did a great job on this. Who could complain about this? Now, if you get a bad bottle or there's a bad batch, they should know. But don't go online and act like an asshole just because your beer trade went south.
And I think that's really where a lot of this is stemmed from. There are people who trade beer for I think significant sums of money. They are turning a profit. And that was the subject of what I wrote on my blog today. And my position was that beer is not an investment opportunity. When you buy a beer, you are buying it as an investment in your own personal enjoyment. I'm dropping the link in the show notes. I read it later. Don't leave us. We're having a good time. Uh, the investment is not in the beer. It's not on flipping it. It's not on flipping it for better beer, or flipping it for some other whale, or for cash. It's an investment in yourself, in your enjoyment, and in the enjoyment you have with your friends. I have, and in full disclosure, I bought beer on the black market. I have traded beers with friends. I personally have never sold a beer for a profit, and I've never flipped a beer other than with a couple of people that I consider real true friends, not just people I know on the internet. Um, and by and large, when I have a beer that I want to share with my friends, I just give it to them. Here you go. Um, and by and large, they are always quick to return the favor if they've got something interesting to pass it along. That's kind of how I think this all should work. And more importantly, I think that's how legally it actually will work. And I think there's a lot of pitfalls. I'm not going to go into all those here on the podcast, because you can read it in the blog post. If you think I'm wrong, I'd love to hear from you. Yell at me on Twitter at Bearcat on Beer, or in the comments on the post. But I don't think I am.
We're getting off on a little tangent here, but I've done one beer trade online in my life, and I fucked it up and put the labels on the wrong boxes and got yelled at by some guy in Oregon. This is 2003 that I was doing this, and I never did one ever again. If I get something good, I'm either going to share it with friends or drink it or whatever. I just don't have that kind of patience to be like, oh man, you mean I could trade this up and eventually I'm 3 degrees of a beer away from a Pappy Van Winkle bot. I just can't. I just can't even handle that. And to be in all these weird subgroups and everything. And if people want to do that, that's fine. I just think it's exhausting to even think of the effort that, okay, well, I have to go to X brewery and put forth $700 out of my pocket, but it's going to net me $1,050 back, and then I can trade that and forward that. It just seems like such a hassle. And I love drinking beer, but anyone who's listened to our podcast knows that I'm more in the social aspect of it and the fun aspect of it. And if I can get good shit, people are going to drink with me, and we're going to have a good time until that fucks everything up. But what I just don't have the patience to be like, oh, I could send this to the West Coast and get back a Pliny the Younger or something like that. Who gives a shit? Just enjoy the stuff that you have locally and embrace it. Not show up and complain because you fronted $500 and it's just stupid.
It is. It is ridiculous. And you know what? If a brewer sells a beer and you buy a bunch of it, expecting it to be trade bait, and you're going to turn, $30 bottles into $50 cash each one, that would be great. Who doesn't love a great markup and making quick cash? But if for whatever reason the market on that beer is soft and people aren't interested, and you're not able to unload those beers, that's not the brewer's problem. The brewer didn't promise you a beer that you could trade for others. The brewer did not promise you a beer that would go up in value because it was a limited release. And if the market is soft on it, you don't get to scream about it being a drain pour and that you want a refund. I've never asked for a refund on a beer, and I don't ever intend to. If I don't like the beer, I don't finish it. And I will, if I think it's proper and appropriate, talk with the brewer about it privately. But I don't ask for my money back. And if they offer it, I generally don't take it. I would take another beer, but I'm not asking for my money back. That's not the way this works. And to ask for your money back is low rent. It's embarrassing. It's bad for craft beer, and it's frankly pathetic.
I kind of agree. Those are harsh words, and I know that you have a definite stance on that. I respect that people want to do that. That is fine if that's what you want to do with your time and money. It's just not for me. It never has been. It if somebody were to reach out to me and go, "Hey Ed, like my friends in Atlanta, if they're like, "Hey Ed, can you get us some Mad Elf and send it down here?" I have no problem with that. But me going to stand in line at, I don't know, I'll just say Tired Hands as an example. I don't even know what the hell they're doing anymore. If like I wouldn't just do it upon the expectation that, oh, well, now I can ship this out and do this. Oh, I have all these beers and here's this Facebook group I'm in. That's just exhausting. I'd rather just be able to be like, hey, I just bought these 3 beers. If you guys want to come over, you want to, if we're all going to get together, let's just drink them. And we, it'd be cool. Another notch on the belt.
Yeah, I agree with you. And here's the thing. Out in Pittsburgh, the Voodoo Barrel Reserve series is coming out soon. And you have Pittsburgh Craft Beer Facebook are screaming at each other about the value of this beer. $600 a bottle. Can I get $300 a bottle?
Whoa, whoa. $600 a bottle for a bottle of beer.
Yeah, they're talking about trading for, a number of Bottle Logic beers. Bottle Logic out of California, which just got on my radar a few months ago. The value on those beers is absolutely crazy. And then when you start hearing that people are buying things like Toppling Goliath beers for multiples of thousands of dollars, what is actually going on out there?
You can literally go to Vegas and pay for a woman for a night, and it will cost you less than that bullshit. That is stupid. It is so stupid.
It's getting out of hand. It's absurd. I think it's bad for craft beer because it's turning it into a game. And look, if you're in the chat right now, if you think I'm being ridiculous, tell me. If you agree with me, tell me. I want some feedback on this. I have very strong feelings about a lot of this. And I'm not saying you should never ship a beer to a friend. Mainly what I have a problem with are these Facebook groups and the way that the beer is being discussed it's just unseemly.
It's not about the beer. It's about the money now.
Yeah.
It cheapens the whole. You're not doing it because you love beer. You're doing it because, I don't know, you're trying to pay off your student loan or whatever, maybe. The old stripper excuse. But it's just, that just sounds so ugly. I don't know. You put it better. You do more research into this stuff than I do. So when I hear this for the first time, I just go, oh man, that's creepy. Now, if somebody's like, hey, and reaches out to you personally and says, hey, I'll trade you this for this, straight up, fine. But when you're like, what's the value of this beer? God, get bent.
All right. If you're in the chat and you're having a drink, let us know what you're drinking tonight. We're not going to just sit here and rant the whole time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're going to move on a little bit. Back to gooseberries. Okay, so this beer is in the body is very light. It's got a sweetness that's very long. It hangs around in the finish. The nose is really where the Brett, I think, is shown off here. It just smells fantastic to me. It's a little bit musty, a little bit funky. It's got a little bit of that hay and grassiness in the nose, with a little bit of like a white wine hanging out in the middle. The nose on this is absolutely fantastic. It's really good. The mouthfeel is a little bit velvety without being overly thick. And it dances nicely across the palate. It's not overly carbonated, but it's giving me some really nice bubbles in here. The color on it is nice. My camera is not doing it justice. And it sits nicely in the glass. And it's the gooseberries really are being shown off here. They got a nice tartness to it. It's a subtle sour. This is a very fun beer. I really like it.
Mine has a lot. I would assume mine has a lot of the same mouthfeel as yours. This is the first time I've had this, and I was right. It took me about half the bottle. Well, I guess we're about half the bottle, to get my brain wrapped around drinking a Brett beer, because I haven't had one in ages. We've been drinking so many the big IPAs and stouts and everything. Now that it's settled down and everything, this is beautiful. I would recommend this to anybody who, sorry, I had to clear my throat. Anybody who likes a Belgian style or a Brett beer, this is awesome. I'd recommend this. And it's only 6%, so it's not like it's going to wreck your day. Really good, really drinkable. Great bottle, great presentation. Share it with friends. Fantastic. I really like this.
Yeah, I think it's really good. If there is one knock I'd have on this beer, it's the timing of the release. I think releasing this on a snowy February, because it's going to snow this weekend around here, might be a little it might be a little out of place for this beer. This has, to me, because there's all these outdoorsy flavors and notes in the nose, this really is a springtime beer. So if you buy this beer, my suggestion, maybe hold off until we get that first really nice spring day and crack it open then with a nice some dried fruits or some cheeses and some nice cured meats. This is a springtime beer. He's releasing it now because I assume it's ready. But if I think of beer as seasonal, and I think this is a springtime beer, buy it now and then drink it when you get that first nice warm day, because this will pair nicely with it.
One thing I will say is, when I rail against American saisons, is that they don't have that feel that you get from the European ones that have that. I call it like the wet boards in a barn type of flavor, like that kind of musty-ish. And what I'm drinking now, and it's probably just the Brett, but really has that kind of feel. And it takes me back to kind of not the same, but the same type of flavor, like a Saison DuPont, something like that. Really, really good. Hits all the notes with me. Maybe not everybody, but I really like this. And for my first foray back into a Brett beer, you could do much worse. This is really, really good. It's coming around great. Carbonated fantastically. This is really good.
Yeah, it is. This is a wild ale done right, and I really like it. I think it's highly recommended, and I think if you miss out on this beer, you're gonna regret it. 7% on this one. I think yours is 6.5, so that's right on the nose.
I'm 6 flat, according to the label, anyway.
Yep. And if I were to personify this beer, I would say it's a beautiful girl in a sundress. I mean, that's really what this beer is to me. It is really pretty, and I really like it.
I wish we had any video editing skills so we could actually put like a pretty girl in a sundress right here. Like,
really nice. This is a pretty girl in a sundress. That's what this beer is, and I really like it. And if you like pretty girls in sundresses, and who doesn't, you'll like this beer. All right.
What if you're a lady? Then what would you do?
I don't know what the ladies like. I know it's probably not me. So,
Bill, in this climate, come on now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rate this real quick. I am very, very happy to have had this beer, and I was prepared for the sourest heartburn ever, even though I did prepare for it. This is really good. My first few sips took me a little while to get to it, but now that I've poured out a couple and it's warmed up and it's aerated, man, is this good. I'd give this an 8.5. I think everyone should seek this out and give it a run.
Cool. That's great. All right. So we're going to take care of some business while I'm finishing up this glass, because I do have one more beer to do, but I don't want to pop it open quite yet. We're going back to the IFS podcast sticker board, right? And I have a new sticker. I've got a Trogue sticker. So this is going on the board. If you are a brewer and you have a sticker, you should send it to me and I can put it on the board. When we have enough stickers on this board, it's going to show up right here. It's going to look real nice. And your beer label can be on my board. So there we go. Trogues, welcome to the sticker board. I screwed up once again. I visit breweries all the time, and I forgot to ask Al for a sticker. I really blew it. I'm sure he would have given me one.
You know what? People have actually asked me, like, how does he not get stickers? I'm like, I don't know.
I'm an idiot.
He goes out enough. I don't know.
I always forget. That's why if you see me, if you're at a brewery and you see me, you gotta be like, Bill, don't forget the sticker here. I bought that one. I mean, I'll buy the sticker. You don't have to give it to me. Although if you give it to me, I'm more than appreciative. If you want to give us beer, we will drink it. Case in point, we were given this beer and we are drinking it.
Considering I drank a Smirnoff Ice on here, people should know I will drink anything you send me. Matter of fact, that should be the gimmick. Send Ed the worst beer you think you found, and he will drink it.
I like that. You're getting some like, Russian gulag
Stunt
beer.
boy. I'll be stunt boy. Like, here's American Light. I'm like, oh, God damn it.
Yeah, certain things I just don't think I can do anymore. I'm too old.
I'll do it. Who cares?
So I don't have a second glass, so I gotta finish this one. But I also have a second beer here. Do you have a second beer, Ed?
I have a second and a third, but yours looks a little more fancier than mine.
Well, we didn't rate the. Yeah, I got another fancy beer.
I rated mine. You didn't.
Would
rate
you give
yours.
this one? Would you give it
8.5?
8.5.
Yeah, it's really good.
I really love mine. It is nearly perfect. Oh, I really want to give this a 10. I do. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Get a lot of Homer comments.
That's okay. I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care. We have 0 viewers right now, so like, what's it matter? I'm gonna give this a 9.5. Yeah,
that's good. Now my 8.5. That's not a bad score for me. That's actually really good. Probably just because this is not exactly my style of choice, so I'm not like an expert. But I would say this is really damn good, and I'd be hard pressed to turn this down anywhere. I mean, obviously anything can be overpriced, but I'd get it. Color's on, carbonation's on, the flavor is great. I'd go for it. Love it.
Yeah. So 0 viewers, Sean, was a joke. And he's watching us right now on his Apple TV. We're on someone's television. That's crazy. Man, 2018 is weird.
Well, if ever we could make your head bigger, why not do it?
Yeah, man, on someone's television. That's crazy. That's awesome.
It probably looks like the Master System from the original Tron. That thing.
Yeah. Oh, coming through your TV. Oh man, the new YouTube app on the Apple TV is pretty slick, by the way. So, right, you're not into all that Apple stuff. So, what do you care?
No, I'm not. I'm not part of the Matrix or whatever there.
Yeah. If you are having a beer with us, let us know what you're drinking. Ed, what do you got? What do you got for number 2?
This show.
Nice. Gotta get off mute. There
we go. It delays on me sometimes. So I have 2 choices.
Oh,
I have the Pizza Boy Pilsner.
Yeah, we drank that already, didn't we?
Yeah, but it was theme appropriate.
That's true.
And I also have Vale Bros Night Out. All right. I'm going to mute myself and pour this out. Hang on.
I've had Bros Night Out at least twice. That's a really good beer. I'm going to pull up my notes on that one. I like that beer a lot. I do think that beer is a little bit problematic given like the copyright issues that seem to be really obvious with that beer. Because they put the boys in silhouette from Stranger Things in this kind of like Stranger Things script, if you could do a silhouette or a portrait that way, on the label. It's a little bit problematic.
Yeah, I don't know how all that stuff works. I do know on YouTube you can basically post whatever you want. I watch enough nerd videos that they post like pictures of Indiana Jones and Nintendo and all this stuff. You can do whatever you want on a screenshot there, but as far as can labeling, I don't know what the jurisdiction is on that.
I gave that a 4.5, and I loved it. I thought it was really great. My notes were Citra, and really great oats on the back end. I really like that beer. Yeah,
I'm going to give it a second to enjoy more of this whatever forever, just because.
Yeah, I if you get the chance to get the gooseberries, I don't think you're. I think you'd be crazy not to pick it up. So, Fox is drinking Liminal Moment by South County. Great choice. Great beer. Good job. Really, really good beer. All right. So I'm gonna rely on you to talk about Bros Night Out for a while I try not to struggle too much opening another cork and cage. So it was really embarrassing the first time. It'll probably be really embarrassing the second time too.
Well, I'm going from a Belgian Brett to a double IPA, but here we go.
Yeah, Northeast style one too. Jeez.
The smell is great, subtle, almost like a peach type of smell. Here we go again with Bill trying to pull the cork off.
It wouldn't come. It's just, oh my god, why is this so hard? Oh, this one's even worse than the first one. I mean, this one's literally not moving. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing.
Yeah, for both of us.
Oh, god damn. Does anyone else have this problem?
Are your hands too big? Is that what the problem is?
No, I don't know what my problem is. I don't look all that work, and that's the best I could do. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Oh, I mean, I've seen some people where they just put one hand on it, grab it, and do this. I don't. Who are they? I mean, you're just hanging me out to dry too. It's really
100%. I am, because this is amazing.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
I think Roundabout Brewery is going to text you and be like, "Never wear our shirt again."
Yeah. God damn it! This is just so.
It's so bad you struggling with this that your camera can't figure out what to focus on.
It really
That's
can't.
The funniest part. It's like, wait, do I focus on the paw, the cork, the face? I don't know.
Come on. We're almost there. I can.
My God, this sounds like a bad glory hole recording.
Why
don't you do the?
I have. That's not working. Nope. God damn it. You know what, Al? Oh, finally I got it out. God, what a struggle. This is. This can't be good. This can't be good content. It just can't be.
Is that a Titleist?
Yeah. All right. So my second beer is the notorious Permasmile Blueberry Pennsylvania Wild Ale.
No. Bro, why'd you open that? That's going for $200 on the open market, bro.
Yeah. It's killer.
Jesus Christ, you wore yourself out.
I did wear myself out. God, my I'll tell you what, my hand, like, you get writer's cramp. Like, this is
no,
really
I've never
sad.
written a thing in my life.
Hey, Nicole showed up. You're a little late to the party, honey. Thanks for coming. What are you drinking tonight? Anyone else out there who's joined us? Let us know what you're drinking. Man, I'm sad that this gooseberries is done, but time to move on. That was good. All right. Permasmile, barrel fermented with blueberries. Oh, look at the color on that.
Oh, man, that's a deep one. Oh, my, look at that.
It's a beautiful color. It is really nice. Oh. So I poured it, and it looks great. It doesn't have a head on it, which is fine. Smells great.
What's that? Anything coming up from the bottom there? Is it
Yeah. It's got a little bit of carbonation coming up from the bottom. It's not flat. You know what I'd say? This is more like how a lambic is. Mm. Yeah, it's like a lambic. It's fine. Yeah, it's good. Man, I'll tell you what. That first taste was really nice. Very sweet. A little bit of barrel in the finish. Blueberries, man, it's silky. That's a really silky beer. Boy, that's good. This is batch number 3. Permasmile has been really good and really big for Pizza Boy. Anytime these come out, people should be getting really excited. And I can understand why people bought a case of it and we're trying to flip it. 6%, and with this much flavor, this deep, oh man, it's really good.
Now, I will say, just from viewing through your camera, it does look a little undercarbed.
Yeah, it's not highly carbed. It's not even moderately carbed. This is a low carbonated beer. I'll tell you what, if this label said lambic, I don't see how anyone could bitch. But it doesn't. I don't think it needs to. I think this is the beer. I think this is the beer that is worthy of the purchase price. I purchased a blueberry Permasmile. I didn't purchase this bottle. I was given this one, but I did purchase one when they first came out. I hadn't had a chance to open it yet. I only bought one. Wasn't one of those guys buying a dozen of them. Al gave me this one and told me to give it a try. I'll tell you what, the flavors are just spot on. It is just so tasty. I really like it. So now the question is it a good beer? And so far, after a couple sips, I can say that it totally is. This is a really tasty beer. Get a little bit of that dryness from the barrel in the finish, which I really like. I think blueberry is very difficult doing a beer. And this does it right. Most times blueberry beers just really turn me off. This is exceptional. It's fantastic.
That was going to be my first question, because anytime I see blueberry, I immediately turn and run. It's just impossible to use in a beer the correct way. I guess it's just so delicate that you either can do it or you can't. Some people would say that about mango too, where you have to have that real balance with the hops and maybe even each other out. Blueberry has just it's going to take over everything you do unless you figure out a way to ballast it with other ingredients. I've tried it well, we all know that Sea Dog blueberry is terrible.
That's
but
awful.
I've had blueberry stouts. Give them a try, and I'm like, awful. Not all. I mean, I'm sure there's a good one out there, but it's just one of those flavors that people try and just seems to never work. But if done right, like lambic style, I think that might work out. I don't know. What do you think? Pretty good?
No, I think it's excellent. I do think that I'm getting a little bit hung up on, is it a lambic? Is it a lambic? It's got the mouthfeel of a really good lambic, but it's a wild ale. And you know what? I don't think it necessarily matters whether or not it's super carbonated or just sufficiently carbonated. I really like it. I think it's really good. I think it tastes good. And ultimately, isn't that what matters? Isn't that why we're doing this? Did you like the beer or didn't you? If you didn't like it, what didn't you like about it? Am I willing to knock it a few points because it's not fizzy enough? Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'm moving on because you know what? I like the way the beer tastes. I'm enjoying it. I think it's worthy of my hard-earned dollars, and I'm glad I bought one. and I'm really glad I got this one comped me for this review. And you know what? I think it's excellent. I think it's an excellent beer. It's really good. Yeah, there you go. Nicole asking in chat, anyone headed to the Belgian Beer Fest at Max's? Ed, you're going.
Yeah.
I've never been to the Belgian Beer Fest. I've heard amazing things. The tap list is just epic. You've gone before. Tell us about it. No, you've
I have
not.
not. No.
I thought for sure you went.
What I've never been to I've been to Max's several times.
I've been to Max's. Yeah, it's great.
Obviously. But one of my college roommates has been there the past like 4 or 5 years, and he wanted us all to get together, all of us college bros, Pittsburgh coming in, Harrisburg coming in. I envisioned us doing a full weekend of it, so I have tomorrow off. I may go down tomorrow and try to get down there. I don't know if that's going to happen, but at the very least, I'll be there all day Saturday. We got a room at the Admiral Fell Inn, which is right across the street, which will be great. So I'm looking forward to it. The tap list looks ridiculous. I don't know what kind of zoo I'm going to get into. I think I'm hoping it will be a fun zoo, like where it's not asses to elbows too bad, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be a fun time, and I only get to see my college buddies, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year. So it's one of those times that we're gonna enjoy, and we'll have a good time, and probably lose one of us in the streets of Baltimore, which will be great.
I'll tell you what. I've never been to Max's for the Belgian Beer Fest, but I have been to Max's Tap House, and in fact, I went down. One of the greatest days of drinking I ever had was with my father down at Fells Point and at the Inner Harbor. I went down to Baltimore with him. My aunt lives in Fells Point up on Butcher Hill, and I went down there for a job interview, and he came along with me, and we stayed at my aunt's for the night after the job interview, and went out for drinks. And I go to the job interview in the morning, and it was awful. I wasn't interested in them. They weren't interested in me, and I was perfectly happy with them not being interested in me. And I walk out there, and I'm thinking, I just finished college. Am I ever going to get a job? Blah, blah, blah. And he and I go into Max's, and we had a couple beers there. And then we went to this other bar, which was totally empty. And they had Guinness on special, along with fresh oysters on special. And he and I sat there and drank like 10 Guinness each and ate our fill of oysters, which were a lot, over the course of many hours, and then stumbled back into my aunt's house, drunk as a skunk, and all the happier for it. It was one of the best days of drinking I ever had. And I did it with my dad, and it was fantastic. And if you ever get the chance to do something like that with your dad, you're crazy if you don't do it.
That's a great story, man.
Yeah, it was great. I had a really good time. In Baltimore, at a lot of the bars, you can play Keno.
Oh, yeah. You got to play the Keno.
Yeah, we were playing the Keno, and we're talking with the bartender, and she was very nice. And then another bartender came in because we're sitting there drinking across multiple shifts, and that's when you know that you're really tired.
Wait, do we have to tab out with you? Do you share tips? I don't know.
I don't know. We tapped out.
You can't tab out with me. Okay, we will.
Yeah. So, hey, Ed, John wants to know if you're going to meet a Pizza Boy tomorrow for lunch.
Ooh.
Here's the thing. If you go to Pizza Boy tomorrow, you can get bottles of Intangible.
That is true. That's a good question. So my day is completely up in the air. Well, whether or not my college buddy's coming in. If he's coming in.
You do have some work to do tomorrow.
A little bit. Oh, yeah. I have to edit the podcast. I have to make sure it's done before I leave the house. God damn it.
Yeah. But go ahead. We'll come back to that.
If he's coming in, I'm staying, and I'm free to go for lunch. No problem. If he's not coming in, I'm price lining a room down in Baltimore, just making sure I don't have to drive an hour and a half on Saturday morning just to be hungover and like stupid. So, but no, I'd love to go over if I'm available. Somebody hit me up. I'd love to go and have a couple beers.
There you go. I'm gonna probably swing by there at lunch, or around 11:30 to pick up the uh, beers from Terry from his intangibles. Get a bottle of each. Really excited to see the end of that.
What's funny is if I buy those bottles, they're going to be gone by Sunday morning easy. Like we'll go back to the hotel room and crack them open. And that's just, my buddies would be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you brought this stuff." I'd be like, "Shit, yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
And now I just remembered my one of my best friends, he's coming to, his birthday is February 19th. So now I got to think of something to take for him as a present.
Well, hey, there you go. Intangible ales.
Yeah, I should probably do that.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll see you guys. Let me know when you're going. I'll be up at 5:30 in the morning. So
editing the podcast, because last week we were, oh, excuse me. This is well carbonated because I just had a belch out of it. Last week we recorded with Shane Lohman from Steel City Wholesale Distribution. He's a beer wholesaler out of Pittsburgh. He carries Omnipolo, Pizza Boy, which we're drinking tonight. We talked about a lot. He's carrying McKellar, Evil Twin, a lot of Modern Times. He's carrying a very high, what I would consider the very high end of the craft beer market. Not just a premium beer that craft often is, but really almost a super premium level of craft beer. And he had a great talk with us. We talked with him for an hour about starting his business, which is only 2 years old, about how you pitch to a new brewery, about how you try to get and control the tap handles, and flipping beer, getting product, and he had a great talk. And I thought it turned out to be a good episode, and I hope you'll all listen.
And also, according to you, I mean, in my head, I'm always like, "Oh, I sound like an idiot," but one of our smoother question and answer podcasts across the board, where we didn't all have hems and haws or anything. Sound like it's going to go very well. I'm pretty excited to get it out there.
Yeah. I thought it went very well. Just to review some local beer news, because there was a ton of it this week. We saw that 0 Day Brewing was packaging the Hack beer, the beer that's made by the students in the Hack program that they take care with. And that looks like it's going to be very interesting. I have a pre-release can of it sitting in my fridge. Thought about cracking it open here tonight, but it just didn't make the list with these two big bottles. I will post my thoughts about it online. You'll sure to see them on Twitter or somewhere else. Trogs, not the biggest news, but I was excited about it. We're going to be seeing finally pounders for Sunshine Pills, which is perfect. It's really what we need. And then we got pounders for Perpetual, which is good. The Troganator is moving down from pounders to 12 ounce, which some people are upset with. I know Jeff Kupko, friend of the show and recent guest, was lamenting the move down. I don't have a real strong opinion on that. I think Troganator is fine in a 12 ounce.
I think that's a mistake. I think it used to be kind of that was always thought of as a bomber beer when it first came out. Now we're down to a 12 ounce can. I can see where Jeff's coming from on that.
Yeah. When you put it that way, I agree. I still think of that as a bomber beer. And if it was in bombers, I'll be happier about it. I use that beer a lot when I'm making chili. So I would put about 12 ounces into the chili and then have a few ounces for me, along with the rest of the 4-pack. Now I'm going to have, I guess, a 12-pack, a 6-pack of that I'm going to go through. So if you're making chili, Troganator works really well with that.
Ooh, good advice. You've made a lot of beer and food pairing suggestions on this YouTube.
I try to. I think that's really important. I think it works. I think I think of beer as a food stuff, and still sticking with the Trogs theme. Trogs presents their product in a lot of ways as part of pairings. You had all those little cardboards cutouts that showed what the beers would pair with, what they'd complement with, and what would be adverse. And I thought those were always really great. And beer, I think, pairs well with friends and it pairs well with food. And right now, I'm pairing it with a friend. But if you weren't here, I'd be trying to figure out what food it would work with. And yeah, so I sometimes you set them up with both, and sometimes with this. In other local beer news, Shippensburg now is the latest home of Appalachian Brewing Company. They opened today, which is brand new, which is great for Ship.
Shippensburg, where Market Cross failed, but let's do it anyway.
Yeah, Market Cross.
Okay,
Market Cross works where it's at. I was sad when it didn't work at Shippensburg, but
I
Market
was
Cross
too, because I love Market Cross Pub.
everyone who knows anything about craft beer in Central PA should love Market Cross. They're one of the old guards. Them, the Warwick, those two really are hand in hand.
Market Cross, also a brew pub. Technically, they brew their
Right.
own beer.
That's right.
Their three main beers are really goddamn good. Their porter's outstanding.
They have great stuff, and then you're a stone's throw from Molly Pitcher, and then you have the what's the one that's down closer towards the fairgrounds? I always forget about them. Desperate Times.
There you go. Thank you.
And so you can go to Carlisle and hit up a couple of good ones. I was sad when Market Cross didn't work at Ship, but it made sense to me. Market Cross exists within a very specific space and has a clientele that is, I think, very loyal. I can't get to Market Cross easily, but when I go, I'm very excited to be there, and I'm really happy that it exists.
I always have a good time there, and I realize that it has that weird towny yet college bar dichotomy where you'll see just somebody at the bar like reading a book and drinking a beer, but at the same time you also have a couple townies there, but it gets such a good dinner crowd, and their food's good. It's English style grub. I mean, if you appreciate that kind of food, I love Market Cross. I think it's one of the gems of the 30-mile radius that we consider Harrisburg, and people should check it out more often. But yeah, definitely Desperate Times and Molly Pitcher are also that gives you more incentive to go down there and check them all out.
Yeah, John asked, does anyone feel that ABC is trying to follow Iron Hill? I think ABC was doing it before Iron Hill. So who's following who would be, I think, a reasonable question. Are they trying to maybe hunt down space where Iron Hill is not? Maybe I think Iron Hill is really more to the east of us, and ABC has kind of carved out a space maybe a little bit further to the west.
And they carve out a demographic too that they know that they can cater to. Iron Hill seems a little more, not that ABC is a trash place, but Iron Hill seems a little more upper scale, and I think that they cater to that, so they pick locations based on that, like New Hope, Lancaster, right across from F&M there. You
mean like waspy areas?
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to pigeonhole anything here, but yes, where the rich white people are.
Affluent white people.
God, they're whitewashing brew pubs. I don't know what the hell's going on.
How do you whitewash a brew pub?
And ABC, I think, is whiter washing, but I think that they have a more comfort foodie vibe, and you come in here and you have some beers. Iron Hill has more of a little more upscale type of vibe, and I think that it's two separate areas.
Yeah, I agree. So in other beer news locally, the 717 is in the planning stages. Things are starting to move in that area, and I'm hoping to have a story to tell about that soon. So it's always exciting to see or hear what they're going to put out this year. We don't know that yet, and it's always a fluid thing. but the ball is rolling. So it can't be long before we hear what that's going to be and what it's going to look like. Very exciting. Harrisburg Beer Week is starting to come into focus. I have my ticket for Little Big Beer Fest. Ed, do you have your ticket? You already have your ticket.
I do not have a ticket yet, but I'm working on it. I got. We'll figure that out.
If you're listening to the show, if you don't go to Little Big Beer Fest, I'm going to be really disappointed. This is the one event that we talk about all the time on here, and if you love the show, you're going to love Little Big Beer Fest, because Little Big Beer Fest is like the IFS event. This is the one we get excited about.
And if you love the show, you're going to really love Ed 3/4 of the way through the Little Big Beer Fest, and subsequently trying to get an Uber after the Little Big Beer Fest.
Yeah. It's gonna. That is gonna be a little bit of a difficulty, I think, this year. I take the train in from Lancaster for Little Big, but now I'm gonna do that again. But now I gotta get you from the train station to the Civil War Museum, and that's more of a hike.
Hoping that they have a
bus
back and forth solution, tram, some sort of thing. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows?
So if you listen to the show and if you come to Little Big Beer Fest, I promise at some point we'll carve out a little area and we'll try to get everyone in to say hi and have a little powwow. Just
and I swear to God, I'll bring a portable microphone and we'll just do man on the street stuff. Where all your drunk asses can be recorded and we can edit it down to only the least offensive things you've said.
So maybe get 2-3 minutes of audio.
Well, hey, that's still content.
It's still content, which we're cranking out right now. I don't have any other beers that I can struggle opening, so I'm gonna dive back into the Permasmile and rate it. And man, the nose on it is really nice and fruity. It's got this subtle tartness that's in the middle in the nose. It's got a little bit of sourness to the nose, which is nice. It's a much cleaner smelling beer than the gooseberries. Doesn't have that Brett.
Could that just be your glassware, or you?
Yeah,
because your first glass looked like it might have had some stuff in it.
Well, it was the hard water.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just kidding.
Give my hard water a hard time. The color on this is this camera's not doing it justice. It's a deep purple. It's a deep royal purple. It's beautiful. It sits nicely in the glass.
Would you call it smoke on the water?
No, I would not call it that. That's a terrible joke.
Come on. Every time you say it's a terrible joke, you laugh for 5 minutes. I don't
I love it. I like bad jokes. I'll tell you what, my son told me a great terrible joke today. He said, "Why can't you hear the pterodactyl go to the bathroom?"
I have no idea.
And he said, "Because the P is silent." And I lost it. I absolutely lost it.
There is nothing funnier than kid jokes told by adults. It's just so funny.
It was so good. It was so good. And he had good timing. I mean, he nailed it. He's 5. And I'm like, that was solid. That was a solid joke, son.
If you're an American in the kitchen, what are you in the bathroom?
European. There you go. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, we all love piss jokes. There you go.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, our viewers are really getting their money's worth today.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
This content's free. Oh, so is that...
I'll tell you what, though. Look.
Did you work at a coal mine?
Yeah. Don't ask for a refund. Do not ask for a refund on this show. We are not giving out refunds.
The poor girl who answers our phones will not give you a refund. She's literally been there 1 week, has no idea what you're talking about.
If you pick up the phone and scream at our girl.
It doesn't matter how many bottles you bought, she cannot give you a refund.
We are not giving refunds. We are not. So if you aren't happy with this content, I'm sorry, but no refund. I don't care how flat you think these jokes are. We are not giving refund. So back to the Permasmile. I think the...
Oh, no. Do you have the hiccups?
No, thank God. I think the I think the nose is a little muted. It's probably because I'm coming back from the gooseberries, where the nose on that was just crazy. It was really good. This is a little bit more muted, and it's nice and fruity. The flavors are this is blueberries done right. So you're going to get points from me because I think blueberries are very hard to do. I don't think they're impossible. I think watermelon's basically impossible to do right. You just can't do it.
It's too thin. It's too thin.
You can't do it. Blueberries, though, I think go on the it's very, very hard scale. Very, very hard for blueberries to do right. The number of beers that I've had that I thought blueberries were properly incorporated into a beer might not even reach 5. And this is one of them. So that's a big deal for me. Yes, it's a little bit undercarbonated. We're going to deduct points there. But is it sufficient for me to say that this is a bad beer or that it's not properly constructed or that they didn't do what they set out to do, which is to make a really great barrel-aged blueberry Permasmile? This is a great wild ale. I really like it, and I'm going to give it a 8. It's a solid 8. It's very good.
Nice.
Now you're having to.
Can you hold it up? I do want to see the carbonation here. Just.
Yep.
It's tough to
there
tell.
you go.
Oh, your camera is doing a. No,
there you go. You see it? There you see it.
Yeah.
It's got a small trickle down from the bottom, but it's not flat. It's just low carbed.
I think that's maybe the main constraint there.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone's going to call us fucking shills tomorrow.
I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Call me whatever you like. Just spell my name right. So
yeah, good luck. I still can't do it. I just call you Bill H. I'm like,
that works. That works. Or Bearcat. Pizza Boy, Permasmile Wild Ale. That got an 8. Gooseberries, I gave this a 9.5. If I got really granular, I'd probably give this a 9.7. But I feel like 9.5 is probably just sufficient. Beautiful label, beautiful bottle, beautiful beer. This is the one you want for a nice springtime day. Ed, did you rate the Bros Night Out? What do you got? Let's review that one. Give us what you got on that.
I have the Bros Night Out. Sue your lawyers on somebody other than me. This is a really great double IPA. It's got almost like a peachy flavor to it. The malts and the hops are balanced out very well. This is delicious. It's dank. It just has that great oaty New England style. I really like this. I'm giving this an 8.5. Definitely.
Yeah, I've had that beer, and I would probably go 8.5 to 9. I totally agree with that rating from the time
it's
I
tough
had
for me because I might slide that to an 8.75 if we had that scale, but let's not get that specific. Now, the whatever forever, I've been taking sin sips while we've been talking, and I'm gonna bump mine up. I think I gave it an 8.5.
You did.
I'm in a gray area there. I'm probably gonna bump this up to a 9.
There you go.
Yeah, this is getting real good as I drink it, and I love it, and I appreciate you delivering it to almost my door the other day, and this is great.
Yeah, great stuff. All right. Couple of things regarding our business. New podcast dropping as soon as Ed gets it done and Dave gets a chance to listen. Green light.
Oh my God, that's a lot of pressure now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not going to be tomorrow. It probably won't be Saturday. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to promise you we'll have it in your queue. If you're a subscriber, it'll be in your queue to listen for your Monday morning commute. Also, bearcatonbeer.com. I got a new post up. It's actually my 100th post on that blog. It was number 100. Yeah.
The Bear Centennial. That's all.
Yeah. I put the post up and WordPress was like, that's your 100th post. I'm like, holy shit, I've written 100 things on there. I used to write a lot more. The podcast has become my main outlet, and I'm thankful for all the people that listen because it really does make me want to keep doing it. You can follow me at Bearcat on Beer on Twitter. Ed is at Ed Grohl, and Dave is at Easy Pretzel. Give us all a follow. You can also follow at Tech Support, or sorry, it's at IFS _ Tech Support. He treats it like a cactus house plant. He barely ever waters that account, but it's always nice when he shows up. And new podcast coming on Monday. Be on the lookout for it. And until then, good night.
Thank you, everybody.